Yeah, but not so early stages.
Okay, I can send something out too if you need me to. They're represented by council, so if you told me that. Yeah, I'll send it to them. I send right next door to me anyway, so I can go over there and see what those. Then you give us a timeline. We're not gonna have to go on with infinity, because they're not gonna give us a timeline. Right. Well, I'll give them a deadline that if we don't hear from you by within 7 days, then we're gonna consider it either we're gonna move forward with the appeal or, because they gotta try to be over the proposal. Yep. They've been lucky there's been so dry.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I'm good with that.
Thank you, sir.
I'll be down all day tomorrow. I'll be down for the morning tomorrow.
Okay.
So if there's anything that comes up, I'll be around to be able to address them.
Okay.
I think you need to mark files you're in.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
You?
Any suggestions?
Okay, so we'll just, we're getting the
We'll have to
one of us has to sign it. Yeah. But I know well, the residents, I told them to call Thursday. I already told them the guy that today. No, it's split the cost. I really eat my word for word. So they said it's split the cost of the survey. Right. And that's their problem. So they've got, they're sending me easements and stuff that they got like that. Right. Well, it's still, I have to go through. Yeah. On the program. Yep, exactly.
All right, at this time, I'd like to call the public hearing for the rezoning related to James Hardy Building Products for Monday, June 2023, Monday, June 26, 2023. At 6 p.m. to order, I'll take roll call of the council in attendance. Councilperson Bradley? Absent. Councilperson Kemfer?
Here.
Councilperson Ginever?
Here.
Councilperson Becker?
I'm here, Your Honor.
Thank you, sir. Councilperson Fisher?
Here.
Councilperson Schaumburg is absent. Councilperson Winkleman?
Here.
Thank you, sir. And Councilperson Massa is absent. At this time, I'll turn the public hearing over to the building commissioner, Mr. Sullivan. You may approach.
Good evening, Mayor and Councilman. Before you tonight for our public hearing, we have actually two parcels that have recently been annexed into our city, actually via the public hearing at the last meeting. And when that happens, they're automatically zoned as an RS1, which is a residential district. And then after approval of annexation, which will be later tonight before you as an ordinance, they can then be rezoned to whatever they want to request it to be rezoned for. They did hold a hearing at Planning and Zoning, and Planning and Zoning on May 11th approved to pass this on for public hearing tonight to rezone the district to an M2, which is a general commercial district. The two parcels are identified there on the map and also in your packet. The first one, which is approximately a little over 12 acres, is the one to the northeast side of the former airport. And to the left, including the airport, that property is currently M2 General Industrial District, and that's what they've requested both of these properties to be rezoned as. And later on, all of these properties will be combined into one property. So they recommended at Plain zoning case that be an acceptable zoning, and because those zoning districts do touch, that is my conclusion as well, that they be rezoned, as M2, from an RS1. And the parcel, they don't have addresses, so that parcel number for the top one there is 19-4.0, 17.0, I'm sorry, this is long, 0.000-14, 014.01, and the lower parcel, 19-4.0-17.0-000-010.01. The lower parcel there, the number I just read, is about 9 acres. If there's any questions about the rezoning process, I'll be happy to answer, and their representative is also here from Hardy Building Products. If you have any questions for him about the rezoning, at this time, that's all I have, unless anybody has any questions.
I don't have any questions for you. Does anybody on the council have any questions? Mr. Becker?
I do not.
Okay. Anyone from the audience have any questions? No? All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Jokas, I'm sorry to drag you out here this evening. These are almost routine at this point as you guys consolidate a dozen parcels into one, so.
We're close. All right, at this time, this meeting for the public hearing for rezoning is now closed. All right. I'm going to call the regular council meeting for June 26, 2023 to order. Pledge of Allegiance. Everyone please rise for Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Winkleman. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I'll take roll call one more time. Councilperson Bradley, still absent. Councilperson Kemfer. Councilperson Ginever.
Here.
Councilperson Becker.
Still here.
Thank you, sir. Councilperson Fisher. Here. Councilperson Schaumburg, absent. Councilperson Winkleman. Here. Councilperson Massa, absent. All right. Give you a moment to look at the agenda, and I'll entertain a motion to approve the agenda for the council meeting for June 26, 2023.
So moved.
All right. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, has the agenda been posted, dated, and signed? All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes of May 22nd and June 12th in one motion. I'll give you a moment to read through both of those. They're in your packet.
I'll move to approve the minutes for both of those meetings.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving on to public comment. We have a couple. Paul Saida in the audience? No? Alrighty. Moving on to, we have Andrew Held, City Administrator, is going to speak on his behalf.
So Andy is driving back somewhere tonight, so I will speak on his behalf. We went over the details of the bottleneck bridge ride with the chief. Chief is okay with it. Same thing that they do now, I think, 4 or 5 years in a row, growing bigger every year.
It's a great event. There's several people. He has a breakdown in your packet of how many hundreds come in from out of town. I was with it last year, very good, and it's a great event for the cities.
It's always a pleasure to sit on my front porch drinking coffee and watch them ride by.
There's hundreds of them.
Yeah, I do the same thing with the beer.
Perfect.
It's early in the morning.
It's 9.
Got to start sometime. Right, Dean?
All righty, well, do we need a motion to, all right, I'll entertain a motion to approve. So moved. Okay.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. You're gonna
Yep,
Elk
next one is
Spectacular.
the Elk Spectacular. We received a request. They're having their, annual, fireworks show on July the 8th. Talked to Chief Bova. He's, aware of it. They'll have a truck on site as they always do. So this is, I don't know how many years they've done this, but a very, very long time.
Several.
Just part of the process of getting permission. So we'll need a motion to approve that as well.
I'll entertain a motion to approve the Elk Spectacular.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Last one, Mr.
So,
Eisenbach.
Cassens, if I believe he's the pastor at the Emmanuel Lutheran Church, they're gonna have their Fun Fest on September 2nd. Talked to, Chief Helms, he's aware, no issues there again. I think this is their third or fourth year in a row they've done that as well. So, need a motion to allow them to close the street on September 2nd.
All right, I'll entertain a motion to close Briarton Lane for, the Lutheran Church Fun Fest on June 18th.
I'll make that motion.
Discussion. Go ahead.
So it should be, I believe, September 2nd.
Oh.
Or, I'm sorry, July 18th. What happened,
Okay, I misread my date
it was
too.
fine there. No, we talked about this the other day, 'cause I think he responded to an email from last year, and I got the dates mixed up. So whatever he wrote, it's in your packet. July 23rd, 11:30 to 2 p.m. Last year, I think they did it September 2nd. I grabbed the email from last year.
Okay.
So what
So
he-
July 23rd.
July 23rd, yes. Yes, that's when it is. Yeah.
All right, we got that squared away. All right, so just make sure it's July 23rd, and I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Moving
That's
on,
it. Thank you.
thank you. Check register and bills. Councilperson Becker.
I'll move to approve the check register and the bills and the sales tax report.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on those? All those in favor say aye.
Jason, I did notice one in here that I had a question about, and I now have to doubt if I could find it. Give me just a minute.
You're fine, we got time. Was it a large expense?
It was, somewhere around $4,000 or $5,000 from a vendor, I don't remember. Yeah, let's do that.
On the use tax, it's 13,250, is that down a little bit from?
Well, we don't have a year-to-date comparison yet.
Like month to month, it seems like it was.
Month to month.
Yeah, it fluctuates widely, so we're gonna have to take it almost as a yearly average on that, so we're just waiting to get it up, so. That's where we're at. The other one stayed pretty flat, too, I mean, off maybe $800, one, something like that, but they're pretty good where we're at. All right, I have a motion and a second on that already. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Committee reports, they're in your packets. Give you a few moments just to look through them. Let me flip through them. Turner, you have anything to add on yours?
Nope, busy.
You guys are working good. A lot of streets going in, the streets look real good.
Yeah, pull all those bushes out in front. The Baptist church today and clean all that up, it looked real nice.
That's good. They were encroaching on the sidewalk quite a bit for walkers jumping out.
Might look at planting something else, or maybe just concrete in that little bit area, so, see how.
If they water them, I'd like something else planted there. A little,
Well, I was supposed to meet with them a couple weeks ago, I never did hear nothing back.
all right. Then you have Mr. Bova's in your packet. Mr. Sullivan, you have anything else on yours?
No, sir, I not. We are getting, several more permits coming in, so that's always good to see. That means we're getting growth, both on residential and commercial side, so.
Oh, there was something I wanted to add. I stopped in his office yesterday, day before, something like that, or last week, and, he was reviewing some plans, and P and Z had, we changed corner lots. Can you explain that real quick, and then what is being proposed, how we did that?
What he's referring to is, so like on a corner lot, in the past, the zoning would require you to have two fronts, which means because you're on a corner lot, you have two streets, so you'd have to have two front yard setbacks. And with the lots often being so small already, if you put 25 feet to each one of those, and then 25 feet for the rear, and then you have a 10-foot left on one side, you don't have hardly any room to build a house whatsoever, even one without a garage. So we worked on taking that, one front that's not really your true front yard. So the true front yard is the smallest lot dimension. The other one would be still a front, but it can take the side yard setback. So you have a front and a rear and two sides in that case. The only time that would ever be any difference to that if there was some odd shaped lot that would cause a traffic issue or something like that if the house bumped out that close. But, you shouldn't have that problem because the 25-foot setback in the front applies, so your house should sit back far enough, you shouldn't have that issue. But that's allowing people to construct houses similar to what was already there in the past, with still meeting the setback requirements.
In your office, instead of it being, maybe an 800 square foot house.
Correct.
There's about a 1,500 square foot house being proposed there of new construction. So otherwise that lot wouldn't have been built.
Right.
If those
Yeah.
ordinances hadn't been changed.
Yeah.
So now we're getting a modern house utilized just by changing those ordinances.
No, this one's on,
I don't remember.
Burgess?
Yeah,
Burgess.
it was a corner lot, and it's,
Yeah.
the front elevation, it's just a new standard house. It's a
Yeah, in
good-looking
today's
house. It's gonna
market.
be-
In
So-
today's market, that people are gonna want that size house as a general standard size house.
No,
where,
it was,
that wouldn't happen otherwise.
yeah, thank you.
You.
All right. Chief Helms, anything to add? No, sir. All right, thank you, sir. All right, council liaison reports. Mr. Fisher for the library and school board.
I don't really have anything other than, I saw a few weeks ago, they honored, Miss Parr at the Historical Society, who was, for a long time, ran the library for us, and she is a wonderful person. I was glad to see that.
Thank you. Councilperson Schoenberg's absent. Does the, park is up and going, pool's going well, everything seems to be nice there. Park is looking as well as it has in many years. I think they're working on getting a credit card machine to start taking credit cards, like they're moving into we're moving at lightning speed right now, so that's on the agenda.
Getting into the late 90s.
Hey,
Good for us.
we're trying, we're trying. So, Mr. Becker, planning and zoning?
Nothing except, I believe, Mr. Sullivan, at the last planning and zoning meeting, you were working on some language about making it easier to do small subdivisions that would not require any new public infrastructure or the construction of any new streets.
That's correct, and that will be on the city council's agenda for, review and approval on the July meeting.
Good.
Excellent.
I think that'll be a good change, because there's no reason to have the two-stage process that we have had for a long time if you're not creating something that requires any infrastructure.
All right. That all?
That's it.
Thank you, sir. Zoning and Appeals Board, Mr. Ginever?
I don't have anything, Mr. Sullivan, we don't have any variances scheduled? No.
That's correct.
Thank you.
All right, and Levy Commission, Mr. Kemper?
I don't have anything.
Perfect.
Skip over sewage commission. Just gonna...
Sewage Commission, Turner, you wanna have anything on that? We just did, we're getting our report back from Horner Shipper from the pump around. They did give us a first kind of draft, and we should get the rest of it here soon.
We currently have 30 cameras out in our sewer systems doing II studies. They don't do a volume per se, but they'll do photos every 5 minutes and then a live feed. So during a heavy rain, you can go back and look and see. Unfortunately, we haven't had a heavy rain, so we just did another 30-day extension, so.
I believe the comment was made at the sewage commission meeting that you were nominated to be the one to review all that footage, is that right?
That's, I remember that.
Thanks for taking one for the team.
You did, exactly. All righty. Moving on, public response. Does anyone in the audience wish to speak on anything on our previous council meeting? None? All right. Old business, we have none. Moving on to new business. We have a Hale Fireworks. I'll entertain a motion to approve the fireworks sale application for Hale Fireworks.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that?
Have they already been operating provisionally? Okay, all right.
They're the ones that built the new building up by St. Clair.
Right,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
We don't have any tents in town. We do, but we think they're gonna move.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't make a rule.
Okay.
So they're just moving over to the,
That's what it sounds like to that.
Correct,
Okay.
yeah, the email I have, from them today says they're moving the tent from, Crystal City side of Walmart parking lot to Festus side of Walmart parking lot. Because they've already applied with Festus.
oh, their permit,
Yeah,
okay.
They've already applied for the permit with Festus, so they're already on that track, so they chose to take that route.
Our rules haven't changed, have they?
No, our rules were heavy on that, so I'm not sure.
They just didn't know they were in, on our side of the,
They could either reapply to our process, which isn't very much.
Right.
Because we have the proper fire extinguisher done so far, we signed off on it, and we finally put a stop work order on Friday. They got a little router this morning to move the tent.
all right,
If not, we may have another one before you.
okay. All right. There was a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That moves us on to the liquor license renewal, and these all came in this month. So there's several in here. I'm going to,
I'll move to approve the liquor licenses proposed as a batch.
excellent.
Second.
All right. I have a motion and a second to approve all the liquor license listed. Any discussion?
Should we read them out?
Do I need to read them all out loud? All right. I have Quonset Corporation, Casey's General Store, number 2036, CVS, number 10025, Walmart Supercenter, number 69, Casachero, La Pachanga of Jefferson County Incorporated, Elks Lodge 1721, The Office Bar and Grill, Captain Z's, Mississippi River Eagles, number 4341, Aldi Incorporated 11, Kettle Hut Smokehouse, Thai Rama, Neighborhood Groceries, MSD Liquor, J.D. Street and Company Incorporated, Peddlin' Pie. Okay. But if they come back, they'll be, that's fine. All right, I'll entertain a motion. Oh, I have a motion. Did I have a second on that? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That moves us on to ordinances and resolutions. We have several. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1903-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1903-2023 by title only, please? Thank you.
I'll move to approve ordinance 1903-2023 on its first reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1903-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion?
Are we sure this time? We got this all sorted out? Everybody's in agreement?
Lease is signed. Lease is signed. All right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I move to read ordinance 1903-2023 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1903-2023 by title only, please?
I'll move to accept Bill 1903-2023 on its second and final reading.
Second.
A motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1903-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Thank you. Bill number 1903-2023 now becomes ordinance 1903-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Thank you, ma'am. All right. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1908-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second. Did we get a second?
Thank you.
We did that.
I know, he's not. So I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1908-2023 by title only, please?
I'll move to accept Bill 1908-2023 on its first reading.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I,
I'll move to read Bill 1908-2023 on its second reading by title only.
sorry about that, thank you. I got mixed up. We got so many ordinances today.
We're only like 2 into this, man.
I know, I'm sorry, I'm not thinking. All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Can I have the final reading of Bill 1908-2023 by title only?
I'll move to accept Bill 1909-2023 in its second and final reading.
Second.
All right, give me one second. We're on Bill 1909, correct?
8.
Oh, well, I think you just.
I'm sorry. I did say 1909. I was getting ahead of myself.
Okay,
I'll amend my motion to 1908.
I'm sorry. I'm just, all right. A motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1908-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Councilperson Kemfer. Councilperson Ginever.
Yes.
Councilperson Becker.
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher. Councilperson Winkleman. Bill number 1908-2023 now becomes ordinance 1908-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? All right. I'll do better. All right. Ordinance 1909. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1909-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on that bill? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1909-2023 by title only, please?
I'll move to accept Bill 1909-2023 on its first reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1909-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1909-2023 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1909-2023 by title only, please?
I'll move to accept Bill 1909-2023 on its second and final reading.
Second.
All right, a motion's been made and seconded to approve Bill 1909-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Bill number 1909-2023 now becomes ordinance 1909-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1910-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. Any discussion on Bill 1910? All right, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1910-2023 by title only, please?
Let's see, is that the first one?
Yes, that's the...
I'll move to accept Bill 1910-2023 on its first reading by title only.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1910-2023 on its first reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1910-2023 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1910-2023 by title only, please?
I'll move to accept Bill 1910-2023 in its second and final reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1910-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher? And Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Bill number 1910-2023 now becomes ordinance 1910-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk? Thank you, ma'am. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1911-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
Perfect. I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1911-2023 by title only, please?
Bill number 1911-2023 on its first reading by title only. An ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, rezoning a certain tract of land located within the city limits of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, the city.
I'll move to accept Bill 1911-2023 on its first reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1911-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1911-2023 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1911-2023 by title only, please?
Bill number 1911-2023 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, rezoning a certain tract of land located within the city limits of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, the city.
I'll move to accept Bill 1911-2023 on its second and final reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1911-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Bill number 1911-2023 now becomes ordinance 1911-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. All right. I'll entertain a motion to read Bill 1912-2023 on its first reading by title only.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the first reading of Bill 1912-2023 by title only, please?
I'll move to approve Bill 1912-2023 on its first reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to accept Bill 1912-2023 on its first reading by title only. Any discussion on this bill?
Jason, this is just the standard grant application process, right? Okay. Which gets waived if it gets approved, yeah.
As far as sidewalk, or ADA stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yep.
I mean, it would be a big safety improvement, I think, to have sidewalks along Missouri Avenue.
Yes, it would.
It'd be great.
And the cost is just for applying for the grant.
If we don't get the grant, we get the $5,000 back.
Okay.
If we get the grant, it goes towards our
Project.
project.
And then
The project,
the cost of
typically 2 to 4 years.
engineering is, so this isn't putting in sidewalks yet on Missouri Avenue. This is just
No.
to.
We're applying for a grant. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's design work if we get the,
Yeah, no, there'll be another contract for design work if we're awarded the grant.
okay,
So this is just apply for the grant.
okay.
So if we're awarded the grant, there'll be a design and bidding contract in December.
Okay.
Thank you.
We've been pretty fortunate in getting.
All those in, I have a motion and a second on that. So all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries.
I'll move to read Bill 1912-2023 on its second reading by title only.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can I have the second and final reading of Bill 1912-2023 by title only, please?
Bill number 1912-2023 on its second and final reading by title only, an ordinance of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing the mayor, Mike Osher, to enter into a contract with Cochran Engineering for engineering, design, and grant application services related to the Missouri Avenue Sidewalk Project TAP grant.
I'll move to approve Bill 1912-2023 on its second and final reading.
Second.
A motion has been made and seconded to approve Bill 1912-2023 on its second and final reading by title only. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council. Councilperson Kempfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever? Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
Bill number 1912-2023 now becomes ordinance 1912-2023. Is that correct, Madam Clerk?
Yes, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, the next one is our resolution. I'll give you a moment to read that on your agenda. I would entertain a motion to read Resolution 2, 2023 by title only as is.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
I don't know, just real quick, I just noticed that there's, in the list of things of the letter intent, there's a number 17 there, and there's a number 18, but number 18 doesn't have a title. I don't know if that was on purpose or not. Number 17 says district improvements, and then number 18 talks about city and district. Recognize and understand that the sewer system expands, there be a need for additional wastewater treatment plants, so.
I'll follow up that tomorrow, I'm not sure if that's all for 17, or...
It looks funny, you know what I'm saying?
You know, by the way it reads, it should be maybe district expansion or something.
Yeah, it could be.
It does look like they're just missing a title, but I don't.
Yeah, and for the public too, I think, some gentleman brought up a pretty good point about, does this letter of intent exclude us from negotiating into other agreements? And it actually does, but it has a limit to the amount of time that exclusion is. It's up until July 31st of this year. And there is a confidentiality agreement between us, and that only lasts as long as the negotiations is going on, so.
I wouldn't be surprised if they don't come back asking for extension past July 31st.
Yeah.
I think that probably should have been December 31st, but for the appearance of transparency, we'll have to come back and go back.
Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
I believe this is the same form that the Sewage Commission itself approved the agreement in, so I'm inclined to just approve it the way it is.
All right. I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Madam Clerk, can you read the resolution by title only, please? Or do I have just one time? Yeah.
Resolution number 2-2023. A resolution of the City of Crystal City, Missouri, authorizing and directing the mayor, Mike Osher, to execute a letter of intent to enter into an agreement with the Jefferson County Public Sewer District, the City of Festus, and the Festus Crystal City Sewer Commission to sell the wastewater treatment plant to the Jefferson County Public Sewer District. Did they sell it?
All right. I'll entertain a motion to approve Resolution 2-2023.
I'll make that motion, but I think we ought to discuss it just a little bit.
Okay, I will. Do we have a second? And then we go to, okay. And then discussion.
I'm slightly less convinced that this is the right thing to do than I was earlier. I still think it's the right thing to do, because ultimately, any for-profit business, though they could probably offer a much higher price to purchase the assets as far as the collection system and the plant, is probably going to need to pass that cost along to rate-paying customers. I'm not sure that we have the density in this area to realize any real economies of scale of the type that you might see in a MSD up in St. Louis County, for instance. But I'd be interested to hear what you guys think.
I agree with you. I'm hesitant to our main goal here is not to sell the plant for as much money as possible, is to get it operated by someone that is competent and keep the rates as low as we possibly can for our people in the city. And to sell to a for-profit without knowing any more details than I know, which is very little right now.
Mhm.
But I suspect that you're right, for-profit is in it for the profit, and whether it happens immediately or down the road, I would suspect rates will go up for-profit entity. By virtue of the name of it being a for-profit entity, they're not responsible to the people using the water, they're responsible to their shareholders. So, I tend to think that you're right.
Well, they have to pay for the operations costs, plus they have to pay the shareholders, plus they have to pay the taxes.
It sounds good that we get a bunch more money for the plant, but then if we're saddled with higher rates for the people using the water long-term, I think that negates, an increase in the sale price to me.
And in terms of the cost of capital, the public sewer district, by virtue of its being public, has access to a lot of loan programs, federal, state, and otherwise, that for-profit entities don't have access to. I think their cost of capital is probably competitive. Dan, what do you think? I mean, you guys voted on this at the
You
Food
know,
Commission the
me
other
and
day.
Matt talked about this Friday. If you go with a non-for-profit, say 1103 Chris Lights, I got a complaint. My phone calls might go to Chicago, it might go to Indianapolis or Atlanta. But you get hold of Jefferson County, they're right here. You know, they can have people here, or it goes to a 1-800 number out of St. Louis office. You know, I had a guy who lives in Arnold had to deal with that, and it's kind of a pain in the ass for a citizen. You don't know who you're gonna call. So, that's my opinion. That's how
Okay.
There we go, Mr. Turner. Also, I would like to point out the for-profits, Arnold went to that recently. And rates, at some point, do have to creep up to pay for infrastructure. We're not oblivious to that. But we want to keep them as reasonable as possible. And with a nonprofit, they're not trying to pay for their shareholders. You know, I'm inclined to go along with this.
Well, I mean, you don't wanna have rates so low that you're not making the necessary infrastructure improvements that you need to make.
Right.
You
To
made
have it
that
run
point.
right.
Right.
Good point.
Well, we gotta make sure that we're not getting knocked by DNR. You know, that's one of the lures to this is we're going to have a company that meets all those regulations and can operate it successfully, and it's,
What, the point of my question when the open session was happening was, and you guys probably know better than me, do we have a lot of opportunity for expansion? I mean, would it overflow into R7, the sewer districts down there possibly, and we could actually consolidate?
Park, you've got whatever land development, south of 55, or 61.
Yeah.
And if they stay on this side of 55, they can just follow the outer road down.
Well, there isn't a sewer district in the R7 area, right?
Now there is.
Is there?
there is.
I wasn't even aware it was there.
Can't think of the name of it, but there is a sewer district in our seven.
Is it small?
Yes, I believe maybe it's some sewer district.
Oh, yeah.
Is that Selma Village?
So it has some
Okay.
village and some other.
Yeah, okay, I knew about that one, but there's not one that covers the large.
It's not real big,
Okay.
but,
But, I mean, theoretically, since this sewer district covers all of unincorporated Jefferson County, they could someday expand that plant or have a second plant or something that covers
Right.
that entire area,
which
would
we
be-
wouldn't be able to do if we sold to a private company, right? Because it would still be under
Well,
city jurisdiction.
If some of the private companies didn't do it, which is
Oh.
not that these guys can't either.
Okay,
Whoever we would sell to can expand their district how they need to.
okay,
We
okay.
can sell to the citizens that live out that way.
Okay.
And we did talk with Liberty Utilities when we first started talking to Jefferson County Public Sewer District. Liberty Utilities has gone up there, they're like 60 other jurisdictions. They had no interest due to what they believe probably the cost to update that plan is gonna be.
Yeah.
We had lunch around the same time with Liberty Utilities plus Jefferson County Public Sewer District when they reached out to us.
And Jason, correct me if I'm wrong, but back a long time ago, before we decided to build our current water treatment plant, you and I had lunch with somebody from Missouri American Water, and it kind of explored the idea of them coming in and providing that service, contracting with the city, I guess, really is how that would have worked. And at the time, they had no interest whatsoever in taking over our distribution system for treated water or our collection system for water needing treatment.
It's been quite a few years.
That was a long time ago, but essentially, they came back after we were done, it was like, why didn't you call us? And I said, we did. You didn't want to help with the thing that we needed help with. Yeah.
Yes, Mr. Cherry?
You're talking about private sector being, having to turn profit for their owners, shareholders, whoever they are. Of course, that's true, obviously. Nobody's gonna invest if they're not gonna make a return. Okay. However, for instance, you've got, Mr. Sean Nichols, Central States Water, they're 11 states. I forget how many facilities, I'm just using him for example. I'm not suggesting that this is exactly what I want. Like Tony here, I'm not quite 100%, I haven't made my mind up 100% on this either. But, whenever you've got that kind of expertise, you can have one engineer or one engineering department that's taking care of 11 different states. So you've got that efficiency that you're doing. Plus, having been a government employee on a couple of different levels, I can assure you, you're not gonna get a whole hell of a lot of efficiencies. You're gonna spend a lot of time checking a lot of boxes, doing a lot of things that really is just going in a file cabinet, and maybe every 5 years somebody will move it from one file cabinet to another, but that's about it. Okay, so I wouldn't just write them off immediately for that reason. I believe they would be something to look into. On the other, side of the coin, I recognize this was bought with tax dollars, essentially. Well, user dollars, but through a tax entity, and it's going to another entity. So you can make the argument that whatever you get, it's still owned by the citizens, although not just the people of Festus Crystal City, it'll now be owned by the people of the whole county. So, you know, I get that argument too, but I wouldn't write off the expertise that you could have of a, private entity. I mean, they're doing it efficiently for a reason. They have the expertise, they've done it. American Water, they're all over the country. They didn't want to do it initially, according to Tony, and Tony says that I believe it. But, well.
I'm right there too. I'm more inclined with Tony, but.
At the time, I really wanted them to offer to take over.
I wondered why they didn't do it, if I wasn't involved with the city at the time. I really wondered about it, I didn't voice any concern. But, these people have been doing this for American Water since 1800s. You know, 1800s, you know, that's a lot of expertise. They're keeping up with regulations, not just that have hit, but what are coming out. And they're helping to write those regulations, whether we like it or not. They're lobbying to these organizations, and they're part of the process. Whereas we just have to duck and cover and you know, do the best we can after they come out. I wouldn't just immediately write them off. I think I would want to sit down and hear what they have to say. And like Tony, I've got no opinion formed at this point, but I mean, they've been doing it a long time with a lot of expertise to just write off without hearing what they have to say. Sorry, I took up that much of your time.
I mean, it's one of those things, but we need to look at, and, I mean, the LOI is they're gonna look at us, and we're gonna look at them a little more in depth, I believe, is what this LOI does, correct, Jason? Okay.
It's just a letter of intent, we get to a point
That we don't like it.
when they're comfortable moving forward, we have what they think they're gonna have to do with the plan, so on and so forth, we can say, well, you know, we wanna go look at Missouri American Water, or Liberty Utilities, or whoever else is here. Obviously, all three entities would have to agree, and three boards should agree, change course now, might be a little bit. But just a letter of intent does not mean that,
That we're selling it. All right. Does anybody have any other discussion notes on that? All right. Did I have a motion?
Discussion.
That was our discussion, all right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. I'll poll the council on that. Councilperson Kemfer?
Yes.
Councilperson Ginever?
Yes.
Councilperson Becker?
Yes.
Councilperson Fisher?
Yes.
Councilperson Winkleman?
Yes.
All right, that moves us on to the city administrator report. You should have that at your, give you a moment to look at that. There's a couple of things we need to discuss on here. I believe next week, your first note.
Yeah, so, we've been doing, as you all know, we went through some salary negotiations and things of that nature. Happy to report everybody's fairly happy. We haven't got any complaints. There's been that just took effect today, so we haven't had the rebuttal that we thought we would. All the department heads are handled their departments individually, so I think, everything went well. During those talks, it was asked if the city would consider giving employees Monday, July 3rd off. We're closed July 4th.
It's on a Tuesday.
July 4th's on a Tuesday. We've done it in the past. They ask, I ask. I won't be here, so it doesn't matter to me.
We gotcha.
So, they ask and I ask.
I don't have an issue with that, but that's up for discussion on that. They have,
Next year, when Fourth of July is on Thursday, will we have set the precedent that there will also be on Thursday and Friday, or that?
Kind of a case-by-case basis, usually. I don't remember why we did it a couple of years ago, but I know we did, and I think the county did it, we did it, Festus, it might have been during COVID. And it was ideal let the buildings rest longer or something, I don't remember, but we have done it in the past. So, yeah, they'll ask again. At some point, they always do. It might be Christmas, or it might be, whatever.
I can tell you that a lot of other businesses are gonna be closed on Mondays. But, on the flip side of that argument is people have PTO, they can use it largely whenever they want, provided that we're not gonna leave a department unstaffed. So the question is really, do you wanna have somebody answering the phone on Monday or not?
I asked that question to you.
I don't know how important it is to have city departments open on that day or not. I suspect not much will get done.
Probably not.
skeleton crew, if any.
The only thing that's gonna get done that day in our department's gonna be trash here in Reed one day,
Yeah.
Because there's quite a few people are,
I don't wanna dig up the road and have the holiday the next day.
Right.
And if somebody gets a call out.
Yeah, we'll have to know
Whatever, anyway.
Somebody's on call.
Somebody's already
Oh.
Yep.
You know, our folks work really hard for the middle of the summer, and to give them an extra day off, I think is, I know it's good salary study and all that, but I think it would be a nice gesture to do that.
Essentially making a 4-day weekend too,
Yeah, and if they wanna go out of town, or if families coming in or anything like that, so, do we need a motion for that?
Chief, any opinion from the department that will not be taking the day off anywhere?
No, we'll be staffed, and then we might have to, work something out with those that work that day, but we can do that, no problem.
Yes.
I'll entertain a motion to close City Hall July 3rd, Monday, July 3rd, 2023.
That's all I had. Did anybody have any? Yeah, thank you. I don't, if you want to, that was in the municipal league report this past week, that they did not file an appeal by the deadline, I think it was June 5th. So they cannot challenge it. It's a 12-month CD, so there'll be a penalty if we. Yeah. Yeah. It'll stay in there. It'll roll over. We can extend it to 24 months or do something different. We just put it in there until this judgment was. That's all I have. Thank you.
One more thing, Jason. The records room that you've got on here, is that downstairs next door?
Next door, yes.
Okay, I was just curious.
So they'll be closing City Hall Friday at noon to go through, it's only been 5 years since we've done that. And we did get a report back from the court where we have to separate their stuff, build a lock room for it, so we got some work to do next door as far as our records.
And other state statutes that say you have to go through those records and destroy the ones that?
Yes. There's certain rules for the court, there's certain rules for the police department that have to be kept, and then there's certain rules for us.
Okay.
The judge will sign off on the courts, those kind of records, and then we'll bring a list of boxes. All the boxes are labeled up there. You've seen them. Shelley will keep a list of that, and probably in July or August, we'll do formal approval. It'll say, 12 boxes of payroll records or whatever it be. And then we'll call a shredding company after that.
I just don't recall ever doing this before.
We've purged in the past, just by shred truck. We haven't ever done it by ordinance, but that's the way it's supposed to be done.
Okay.
So, we're getting, yeah, probably August. They're gonna work on it Friday. They may have to go back again, because there's a lot down there, and there's a lot everywhere. We run out of room.
Right.
That's when we know it's time to do this, so.
All right.
Back on the day off, the July 3rd day off, so those people who put in for PTO are just gonna get their PTO.
They'll just get a day, yeah, they can keep that whenever,
They don't have to use PTO for
Right.
that day. And then you mentioned the trash service, so we won't have trash service on Monday and Tuesday, it'll be all Wednesday and Thursday.
We'll run 2 trucks on Wednesday.
Yeah, so we'll do
2 on Wednesday,
Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Wednesday, Thursday on Thursday. We'll split up like that, it'll be the best.
Yeah, I'll put it on Facebook and put it on. So Monday and Tuesday will be picked up Wednesday. Wednesday and Thursday will be picked up Thursday, and then we'll pick up, it'll be like Christmas holiday or Thanksgiving. And then if there's calls, we'll go back and get them.
And if you guys do get called in, they don't get no extra holiday pay or nothing like that, it's just standard time for Monday.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions for Mr. Eisenbach? Okay, moves on to the mayor's report. Fire department did a great job teaming up with the school, working with them, spraying kids, had a good interaction with them. I want to thank all our personnel for the Firecracker Festival. I heard it was really, really well attended and everything went good.
Zero complaints.
I like that. That's always a plus. That's always a plus. That takes me to the board appointments I have. That's on the next to last page. I will read all of these out, but the only one that is a new addition is everybody renewed their terms except for the park board. Christina McMullen took Steve Eisenweiss's place. Steve Eisenweiss, these boards have a term limit, and he just had give his service to the community and was busy with baseball, and he's on several other boards, and he was done with the park board, and she took his spot. So if you guys have any questions on any of those, I will go ahead and entertain a motion to approve.
Mayor, one question. Robert, did we not talk at the last P and Z meeting that it's been quite a while since Mr. Roth has attended a planning and zoning meeting? I'm just saying it might be worth asking him if he's interested in continuing. I can't remember, to be honest. Effectively, he's an alternate, because I haven't seen him in a long time.
I thought you contacted. Well, I will contact him and then get a hold of him.
In fact, I think the last time we needed him to make quorum, he had to call in.
Yeah, he was on a fishing trip, I
He
believe.
was.
Yeah, he's an
On the
alternate.
boat.
He did. He did. It was a FaceTime. We had a face. All right, so I'll entertain a motion to approve the 2023 board appointments.
I'll make that motion.
All right. I need to read all these off for the record.
The one other change too was Mr. Winkleman is now the council liaison to the city personnel board.
Yeah, that's on your back
It
page.
was Mary Schomburg, she was on the committee, so gave her a little bit of a break, John has some experience there.
Absolutely. I saw that, it just assumed you requested it, so I was happy with that, so. I'll read these off, I have a motion and a second, but for the BOZA, or the, zoning and appeals, the building, Jane Harmon, Dan Portel, John Laban, council liaison is Mr. Ginever. The P and Z is Mr. Oliver and Peggy Brown, Althage, and council liaison is Mr. Becker. Library board is Sue Duncan, James Casey, Jennifer Johns, council liaison is Mr. Fisher. Park board is Jacob Massa, Christina McMullen, Hubert Zabrowski, and council liaison is Mary Schomburg. And then our police personnel board is Karen Raines, Whitney Lemons, and Rich Cook, with the council liaison of John Winkleman. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. That takes us to roundtable. I will go to Mr. Winkleman. Do you have anything to add, sir?
Want to make a couple comments. The Missouri Municipal League elected officials training, thanks to the city for signing me up and sending me there. I really learned a lot of things there. I found it very beneficial, and others, and when new council members come on, I highly recommend that they do that. The other note I wanted to make was the Facebook post I saw today regarding the fireworks ordinance. I shared that. I think we all need to share that. And the mayor, you mentioned it in your newsletter. Make sure people know the ordinance. I just want a strong stand of, I heard fireworks going off last night. I heard fireworks the night before. We're coming into a time when our citizens are not obeying our ordinance. And it's the drought, all the dry that's out there. It's a difficult situation. And so I appreciate it being in the newsletter and in Facebook, and as often as we can tell people, please be courteous and careful, which is what the message said. And
Right.
obey the law. It seems like you shouldn't have to tell people to obey the law, but
Right, and
they don't.
And to clarify, I believe it is this Saturday, because July 4th is on Tuesday, so our ordinance is this Saturday, and then again, they're allowed to shoot them off on the 4th, correct? Okay.
Share that every other day or so.
Okay. Chief, can you make sure that, I know they shoot them off and it's hard to tell or whatever, but our guys?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Fisher?
I also shared that post, and I think that since it's so dry, it really gives it aside from obeying the law, it gives it a certain sense of urgency from a safety standpoint, so we do need to be careful with that. That's all I have.
All right, thanks, sir. Mr. Kemper? Mr. Ginever? Mr. Becker, you have the floor.
All right. Thank you, Mayor. This is something that I had discussed with a few of you, a very few of you, and not all of you. It has been my pleasure to serve as a member of the City Council since 2011. I am proud of many of the things we've been able to accomplish in that time. Building a new water treatment plant to ensure clean, safe drinking water for our residents. With the support of our citizens and our council, we passed a use tax that will fund meaningful road improvements going forward. We secured a commitment from James Hardy to locate a new manufacturing plant here, representing the largest investment in Jefferson County in at least my lifetime. And most recently, implementing our salary study so that the city can support its employees with market competitive wages and retain experienced and talented people. And It is my duty to inform you that I will be stepping down from the council in July. My wife, my sons, and I are moving to Webster Groves, which I like to think of as the Crystal City of St. Louis County, so that she can be a lot closer to work. I bought our house from my parents in 2003, a long time before I met my wife, and she has had a 45-minute plus commute before and after 12-hour nursing shifts since we got married in 2008, and actually she moved in a little bit before that. While I have been able to walk next door and go to work, so it is time for that scale to balance out, so I have been informed. At the end of 2020, with my partner Grant Bowen, we purchased custom insurance services from my father, who started that business in Crystal City, I might add, in 1975. Of course, I will continue with the agency, but I may be there 5 days a week instead of 6. The city is moving in a very positive direction. There's a lot more work to do. I will continue to make myself available to Jason, Mayor Osher, and the council, and the staff, and all of you in whatever capacity I can to continue improving Crystal City. But since I will no longer have my residence here, I will not be able to continue in the office of councilperson after mid-July sometime. Thank you all very much.
You figured it out, so it's time to move on.
Well, there's plenty more to do.
I would like to add, he announced this, and I guess in July we'll have a plaque and things like that at a bare minimum, but Mr. Becker I've bounced a ton of ideas off of him, and he's been nothing but go for Crystal City. He supports the staff. He's exactly what you want a councilman to be, and it's very sad to see him go. He's great from my aspect of it. I can't speak highly enough of what Mr. Becker has done recently, and even before before I moved here probably. You've lived here for quite some time, and he's done great, and I just can't speak highly enough of him. If you don't know him, you should. He's a great guy. I'm serious. I just don't, because I didn't know you that well up to 2 years ago, and it's been an honor. It truly has. So,
thank you. I believe the way Jason put it is I know when to pipe up and I know when to sit down and get out of the way and let everybody else do their job.
But, my goodness. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Or if anybody else has anything to say.
My only comment was, Tony, short-term working with you, but for what you do for the city, the city ordinance requires that you have to step down even if you don't live here, or do you serve out your term, or I know that state elected officials.
My understanding is when I change my voter registration, which I'm going to need to do in order to get the kids in the different school districts, is that will be the trigger.
Okay. So I thought it was you just had to live here prior to the election, and then once you were elected, you were in. Not that I'm going to try to twist it.
Right. No, I've looked at it. So we implemented, I designed, with Mr. Becker's help, we designed a form to fill out. We'll probably run an ad in the paper, and if anybody's interested, stop by City Hall, fill out this form instead of just, tapping people we know or something like that. And we're going to have them out. It's, I'll appoint them with your guys' approval, and they will fill his term, the rest of his term, and then you guys, there'll be a 1-year term and a 2-year term next year, or in April. So that's it. All right, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, we are adjourned. Oh, yeah, I've heard, yeah, she's my tennis mom.
She's smart, she doesn't have an axe to grind, so.
She don't have anything going.
We're gonna need somebody that's pretty sharp instead of